Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast. This week's news brought to you by a cowboy shakeup. Yes, well, let's start with writer, director, and show creator Taylor Sheridan, the man that brought you the Yellowstone universe, Landman, Tulsa King, Lioness, and Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount+. He's packing up his bags and moving to NBC Universal. Sheridan has signed a 5-year, 9-figure TV deal with the company. That's starting in 2028, which is when his Paramount TV obligations will be complete, and also an 8-year film arrangement that will be starting next spring. Sheridan has written successful films like both Sicario movies, Wind River, and Hell or High Water. This is probably the biggest mistake so far for the new Ellison-led Skydance Paramount. Apparently, the new higher-ups were giving Sheridan a hard time on budgets, and apparently even tried to put themselves in the middle of a movie deal that Sheridan was already working on with NBC. So Sheridan just decided to leave with his entire production company as well. We will see what we'll get in the future. For now, more seasons of Sheridan shows will continue at Paramount. But for the near future, it's exciting to get some more Sheridan films in the works at Universal. Some intriguing news from director Spike Jonze and writer Charlie Kaufman. The two are apparently in talks for another film. The two haven't worked together since Adaptation in 2002, and they also did Being John Malkovich together in 1999, so it would be great for them to create another film. Spike Jonze hasn't directed a film since 2013's Her, which has a ton of love, and Spike in general is highly respected. And then Kaufman is a decorated and beloved writer for his wholly unique and interesting stories. Both Kaufman and Jonze have been pretty incredible at bringing fantastic storytelling to life, so if this rumor proves to be true, we could have another great film on our hands. Some comedy news, which kind of perked my ears up. First, comedy writer, director, and producer Judd Apatow and famous comedian Nikki Glazer are teaming up on a movie over at Universal. The movie is described as an edgy, romantic comedy and is now the second film in development that Apatow has going. He also has a studio comedy film with Glenn Powell in the works. So if these are good, we might be entering into another great comedy era. I mean, who knows? And also, with that news comes Nancy Meyers. So Meyers is a director and mainly a writer on classic rom-coms such as Father of the Bride, The Parent Trap, Something's Gotta Give, The Holiday, and she directed What Women Want. She's definitely a power player in the rom-com world, and now, after budget talks failed over at Netflix, Warner Bros. Is picking up Meyers' film with a budget of $100 million plus for a rom-com. So again, if these are tea leaves that are going to be telling a larger story here, it's really feeling like that grade A comedies might be back and might be back in theaters, not just in that whole, well, we might as well throw it on streamer type movies. Meyers, by the way, has plans to start shooting early next year. Some quick actors news here. So first thing is with Johnny Depp. He will be starring in a new movie from director Ty West at Paramount, and it's Ebenezer Scrooge. So titled Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol is set to be released next November, and we'll get to see Johnny Depp take on his version of the character. Actress Sandra is looking to work with a familiar director once again, Justine Triet. So these two have worked together before on Sybil in 2019. But the film that's most well known for the two of them, and it's also very much liked by myself and Vincent Daly, is Anatomy of a Fall from 2023, which Huller also got the Oscar nom for Best Actress on that. Sandra had a great year then too, because she also starred in The Zone of Interest. Justine Triet's newest film is under wraps, but what's trickling out is that this will be an original, tense psychological film, and possibly even taking place in a psychiatric ward, so we will see. Sandra Huller is on a tear as well. She has 5 projects currently listed in development. 2 of them will be Project Hail Mary next year, from the writer of The Martian and starring Ryan Gosling. And she'll also be in the upcoming Alejandro G. Inarritu Tom Cruise comedy-ish film. So we're very excited to see what Sandra has in store for us next year. Last thing I have here is a couple of rumors floating around, nothing confirmed, but it does appear that Jeff Bezos himself is vying for Sydney Sweeney to be the next Bond girl. A final decision, it does come down to Denis Villeneuve, I believe, but very interesting that Jeff Bezos is really pushing for Sydney Sweeney. And also, Margot Robbie is possibly being considered for Luca Guadagnino's American Psycho remake. So director Luca is giving a go at this story, and he might be gender-swapping Christian Bale's main character, Patrick Bateman. Again, we'll see how this really shakes out. These are just rumors, but could be very interesting. Let's jump on over to the box office for this past weekend. So, fifth biggest this weekend was Tron Ares, making $4.9 million, and only a worldwide total of $123 million for that film so far. Not so great, considering it's up against a $220 million budget. Fourth was newly released Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. That made $9.1 million for the opening weekend. Third was a newly released drama romance film called Regretting You. That made $12.9 million. Second was Black Phone 2, raking in 13. And the biggest film this weekend was Chainsaw Man the movie, Reza Ark, and that brought in $17.3 million. Coming up this Thursday, Vincent Daly will be watching, rating, and reviewing. We have 3 new films once again here for you folks. So we are covering Shelby Oaks, a horror film directed by YouTube film reviewer Chris Stuckman. Then Vin is dipping into the anime with Chainsaw Man the movie Reza Ark, that is directed by Tatsuya Yoshihara. And lastly, The Boss is here. We're both watching Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, directed by Scott Cooper. So very excited to jump into those films on Thursday. But that's it for your weekly movie news here, folks. We'll leave you today with a quote from a writer and director, Nancy Meyers. Like most struggling writers trying to get their scripts commissioned, I had to do something odd to pay the rent. So, age 21, I started up my own small cheesecake company in Philadelphia. And all right, folks, the Daily Ratings weekly movie news podcast, that was it. See you on Thursday.